Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the latest broadcast of Rockland Rebel Radio, a mostly local music podcast. I'm your host, Ian Garland, and with me is my brother and co-host, Angus Garland.
Sup?
And it is good to be back. It is good to be back. Good to see you all, folks. And hey, we are here at you with a new episode.
Coming at you live.
Live and dangerous. Well, him being more dangerous than I.
I guess so.
Send help.
We'll only time will tell.
Only time. Hey, how did that song go?
I don't know.
You know the song by Asia.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever. All right. That little bit went nowhere.
I guess so.
Anywho, on this episode of Rockland Rebel Radio, we will be discussing the music we've been listening to this week. We will dive into a tiny bit of music news, tell you a little bit about Friendly Dog and their EP Dumpster Tracks from January. The second to last January release that we have to cover before we dive into the Caps' new EP that came out Friday. That's music news, just to let you know. And with that, we'll dive into Friendly Dog, and then we'll see you guys next week, and it'll be like not in that order that I just told you in.
Just like not in that exact order.
Basically. But yeah, so Angus, do you have anything you've been listening to this week that is relatively interesting, something that you'd like to share with the class?
Yeah.
You don't have much, do you?
No, I do have much. I'm just like laughing weirdly. Oh. Just before I start everything, I just want to just take a moment to just start laughing, with just no point to it, just pointless laughing before I start, just to delay things, I guess.
All right. Well, we are pressed for time tonight.
Because I was gonna say something stupid, but I couldn't think of anything to say back.
Well, okay. Kind of start telling us what you've been listening to, though.
Listens to Deftones.
All right, that's cool. A lot of nice Deftones.
Yeah, I listened to their newest album that it took me 2 years to actually listen to it. I mean, I don't remember, well, not exactly 2 years, but coming up on 2 years, because it came out in 2016.
I mean, people can be late to the party.
Yeah, it was just I wasn't interested at the time because I was because other bands had been letting me down, and I'm not gonna listen to any new 2016 stuff. Because I heard the new Bouncing Souls album came out in 2016. I was kind of let down by it. It's actually kind of better revisiting to it, but I was not having these new albums, and so I was screw this new Deftones album because it could possibly be trash. I do not know. I don't want to know. It wasn't. It was better than a lot of the albums that had been coming out that were really just absolute garbage. This actually had some good tracks on it that keep bringing me back to the album, just especially for those two or three tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones being because this is a new album, Gore. I didn't say the name of it, which was also a weird thing for me because I'm that's a weird title for them. It's just a single word, and it's just a flock of birds, and this very for the album artwork, it's a flock of birds, but a very Instagram-y looking one. What's that? I'll look at that.
All right, I can see.
Yeah, it just looks it's very different for them. But then I listened to it and songs track 10 Phantom Bride was such a Diamond Eyes-esque track. I actually just fell in love with that track when I heard it. That and Doomed User, which was a bit more heavy, dirty, aggressive for them, which is nice. They kind of went dirty in this album, which even though a lot of bands are kind of doing that now, it's just trying to get very lo-fi-ish and dirty with all the new noise rock coming out in indie bands. It got a little. I mean, they were ahead of everyone else, at least on that.
Yeah,
I'd say that 2016. You know, it's not when you get to the new Foo Fighters album and just they're actually late to the party.
That is fair.
But yeah, it's a good album. You got the other track, Acid Hologram, which is a pretty alright track. I need to listen through more all the middle tracks because it's just I kind of got lost in them. One thing that bothered me is that there's a song called like Prayers and Triangles.
Prayers and Triangles.
Just the triangles part bothers me. And then there's another song later on called Geometric Headdress. I'm like, guys, you know what, haven't that's like a stereotype
for geometric headdress
for like just like geometry, triangles, all those stuff for all those like kind of more spaced out kind of music that they kind of do nowadays. That's like the main stereotype for their kind of music right now.
All right, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, it was sad to see that, but it's pretty all right album. I might have to report more in on it.
Oh man,
get back to you on that.
Hey, I mean, at least it was an all right album. What were the albums that let you down in 2016?
Well, it was mostly, I'm trying to remember all of them. I know that the one album that didn't let me down was the Descendants album because they're always on point with their albums. But I know the Bouncing Souls one at that time, I was like, I didn't like it, and it sounded too pop punky for me.
All right.
It's weird because some of the songs sounded like pop punk songs, and I'm like, that is not I'm not feeling that. But after seeing them live and play some of the other songs off that album, I was like, I actually kind of like it now.
Hey,
it just took a year.
I mean, a year late. I mean, at least it happened though, right?
Yeah, it did. But I'm trying to remember like the albums that let me down in 2016 because there was like at least like 2 of them that came out in 2016 that I was just like, I'm not vibing with these.
Yeah. I mean, were they like really big acts close to your heart, or were they just like something?
Yeah, there was a big act I actually really kind of like. I'm trying to remember now. I can't even remember. Oh, I think there was the new Boy Sets Fire came out that year too, and it was like probably the worst album.
Yikes!
But that's also because all their other albums are really good.
Okay, all right.
So like this
really
one,
high bar.
So yeah, they had a really high bar. Like this one was after While a Nation Sleeps, which is just like their full dive into a lot more like just more heavy metal, thrash metal-y kind of approach music, but they're because they're more of a melodic hardcore and they wanted to go strictly metal, but yeah, it just happened. And so it's just like it just sounded bland, the album.
All right, I can understand that. Like,
yeah,
after like years of creativity, sometimes you have to have a little missteps.
Yeah, but then there's also this band I Am Heresy, which is just bland. So he had a lot of missteps if you find them.
Yeah. If you don't learn from your missteps, I guess.
And I Am Heresy hasn't put out any new music, so I guess he kind of has.
Oh, ow.
Yeah.
Ow, that's a little harsh. But, is that all you really have to say about Gore and those albums that disappointed you last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, old news. Ooh, I guess so.
All right, well, let's dive into what I listened to this week. Just one little thing here. Was it? I listened to a thing that I do not remember.
A thingy thing, a music thing,
a musical thing that sounds thingy.
Smelly smell that smells smelly.
What did I even listen to this week?
See, I don't even.
You need to be stopped.
I'm a menace to society. I'm a fiend and a scoundrel.
I actually dived into a little bit of Porky's full length, A Life That Is Giving, and it was interesting. It was cool to like kind of hear the songs that we had heard at the show with Daisy Bones recorded, which honestly I don't think there's a whole different vibe from them when you hear them live as opposed to when you're listening to them in your headphones. Like when you hear them live, they're pretty fun. They're danceable a little bit, but in headphones they're just kind of like, all right, maybe I can dance. Maybe I'll just kind of lean back and kind of be sad for an hour.
Man.
But it was a really enjoyable listen, kind of dabbling with their stuff, kind of hearing everything recorded. I just love like the dude's voice. What's the lead vocalist's name? I can't even remember it right now. I feel really bad because we talked with this dude for a little while after that show. Let me see. Portkey. They are on the Bandcamp somewhere.
I mean, I don't even remember a person's name 5 minutes after meeting them. They'll be like, bye, and I'll be like, bye, yeah. Just don't even say that. That's what I do. I make it a point not to address anyone by their first name. Just so I don't have to ever to deal with that.
That's fair.
I just be like, hey, and just make noises at them.
Maddie Lepkowski.
I don't even think he told me his name. Well, I think he might have. I just really don't remember him saying it.
I think I got like a friend request from one of the members after I like posted in the
I probably did
event,
on my
like, hey, it was an awesome show tonight.
I wonder if yeah, because I didn't tell them my full name, so they probably wouldn't have. I was just gonna be like, I hope they didn't send one to my account that I don't use.
They might have.
I'll check. One of my professors sent a friend request to that account, and I didn't know for like a few months.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like a month, but I was just like, oh, whoops. Yeah. Hi.
But I think that for Portkey, their wall of sound elements don't really come through as well as they do live. Like on the record, like they don't have like the same impact as they would live. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that guitarist had like a massive pedal board, but you barely heard any of it listening to A Life That Is Giving.
I mean, they could have recreated it. I guess they just didn't do the best job of entirely like recreating that.
Maybe
that
I
wall
gotta
sound.
Maybe I gotta listen deeper a little bit more to try and like hear the little elements here and there. But
We're turning it up past half volume, you weirdo.
I don't want to blow up my ears.
It's funny because no one can see my face right now because I've strategically placed it. So whenever I make weird faces at you, no one actually sees it. They just see you looking at me like looking concerned, like, and they're like, "What the fuck you looking at?"
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Woo!
But I do recommend Porky's A Life Worth Giving. It has some really catchy songs. Like the first 3 tracks are just damn good bangers. I just really enjoy
bangers and mash.
I really enjoy what those guys do as musicians, and I just hope they keep doing on what they do. I think they're on like a tour they're going on tour relatively soon, so maybe we can catch them again at some point.
Cash them outside.
Shut the hell up.
Nah.
Okay. Oh boy. But that's a little bit of what I've dived into this week. Anything else you've diving into?
Dove. Come on, Ian. We're American. Americans use the word dove.
I will punch you.
That's how our English language works. Apparently people outside of the US don't use dove. They just use dive as a multi-purpose word. For like present and past tense.
I'd say multi-tense, not multi-purpose.
Yeah, I just said multi-purpose because that also that is kind of along the lines of what I was saying. I will say I listened to like Amir's new album from last year again, and I actually kind of like it now.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know why I was never excited about the fact that it was because I looked it up online, and that is the only album with the new Glass Cloud guitarist. Well, with Josh Travis from Glass Cloud, the only album they did, because one of your friends was very misinformed about the band. He thought Josh Travis had been on for quite a few albums, but this is the only album he's ever been on.
All right.
Yeah, and I don't know why it was actually never because actually I read into it more. It's the main vocalist of Amir, who's the only original founding member, and then the guitarist of Glass Cloud, and then the bassist and drummer of Tony Danza's Tap Dance Extravaganza.
Okay, hey, that's actually a pretty decent lineup.
So it's a really good lineup, and I don't know why I was never excited by this fact, because I am now, and I actually do like the album. I've been listening to it more, and it's good. I actually have a new point of where it kind of falls short is I don't think Josh Travis did enough.
You don't think Josh Travis did enough?
I don't think he did enough because you'd hear other stuff and it's just he goes crazy with all the different voicings on his guitar and all these crazy just sounds he can get out of it, but he just didn't do that much on this album.
All right.
But what it actually makes you think is I want to wait. I can't wait for their next album because I'm hoping that his next album there's a chance where he just kind of goes a bit deeper with guitar work and really just puts in some more just crazy shit. Because I know he can do more than what he did on that album. I've heard him do more.
All right, I can see. I mean, all it really depends on is whether he will be hamstrung by the fact that he's not in like Glass Cloud.
Well, what do you mean?
Wait, Josh Travis, he was in Glass.
Yeah, he was in Glass Cloud, but
like,
that was like in 2015.
Well, yeah, like who knows whether the ideas of Ymir are gonna like keep him back from like going the levels of wild you want him to go to.
No, it'll be fine. There, Amir has written some pretty crazy songs, like especially like on the same lines of like Glass Cloud. Even though they only used a 7-string, they had originally written some just mean songs that were just nuts on the guitar.
All right.
I just think he went a little too like simplified for this album. He was going some of the right things, and they were also having a lot of those moments where the noise had those big explosions when he hit that low A. And it was just like just really built on the percussion. It was just like a big explosion of sound with the drums and all together. And those are good. I just felt like it wasn't enough of those like just really powerful like explosions or just a lot of him just going nuts. Because I've heard like early Glass Cloud stuff where he was losing it. He was tapping. He was just like going up and down those strings, playing all these strange chords, and it was just nice.
We can keep our fingers crossed that he will kind of bring all that back.
I'm hoping because their next album could be like one of their best in like the past like 5-10 years.
Do they have an album like announced, or is it like just...
No, they're just announcing tour stuff right now.
All right.
But I know they have a very weird release schedule.
What's their release schedule?
It's never consistent. Sometimes it can be 2 years, sometimes it could be 1 year.
Huh. But I mean,
they've released a lot of albums that were like within 2 years, or sometimes they're a few years apart, or it was like this one where like I think their last album was like, how long ago? It was like 2 or 3 years ago. Something like that. It was know. Like it was like there was like a 2 or 3 year gap between their newest albums.
All right.
Like that. Because apparently it was like, I guess the band broke up after their 2015 album.
Okay, all
right.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So when I read an actual interview like with Josh Travers, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what happened.
All right.
That explains so much. But yeah, it's a good album. I actually wish I'm actually gonna enjoy it more.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though. You psychologically like it more because it has all of these like fantastic members.
Well, I like it more because I'm listening to it now, and it's just like I've also just really have a bigger appreciation for 9-string.
All right.
And I mean, there's still like certain songs on this where you can listen to, because there was like certain songs that were like, and then I wasn't really going crazy about some of the lyrics, but then it's just like it's a mirror, and a lot of and I think like over half their albums all have the same lyrics of "I hate my girlfriend's a piece of shit and I hate her."
Oh jeez.
Which it's funny, but yeah, I don't know. Well, there's certain songs where it's like, there's a song on there called like on the new album that was called Russian Hotel Aftermath, and I was like, that sounds really cool, but then the song actually really kind of let me down.
What was it about?
Well, it's supposed to like, I haven't found out the lyrics yet, or what the lyrics mean, but I'm just hearing them, and it's just like, and just hearing all the deliveries and everything, I'm like, this isn't like as like I thought this would probably be like one of the most intense like songs on the album, and it wasn't. And it was kind of like there was a lot more, like there was a song on there called, it was Flag of the Beast, and then there was the other song that was Natural Born Killer. Those were like 2 really intense songs. Yeah. But oh yeah,
I think that's it for is that it for Emir's new album?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. I know what I listened to this week. I ended up listening to the self-titled EP of Oxblood Forge. They are a band that is based out of Whitman. They say stoner metal band, but it doesn't seem like they're stoner metal, simply for the fact that they're actually like really, really decent tempo. Like I listened to the EP and actually discovered it because Rob Leroy, the guitarist, came in and I saw his shirt and I was like, oh hey, what's that? He was like, oh, it's a band I've played with. Oh hey, what's your band? Oh, Oxblood Forge. We're a metal band that practices in the space like right next door to Regal.
Huh.
Because in I think you heard from Willie that like the spaces right nearby Regal Marketplace are like band practice areas. But yeah, so I ended up talking to them, and Rob told me that he has that, they have an EP out, and we should check it out. And I checked it out. It's pretty alright. It was a 2016 release, so it probably is a little bit out of our range for now, but if they have more stuff coming up soon, we can definitely take a dive into that, I'd say.
Yeah.
But,
I thought our range was just 2 years.
well, like, yeah, our range is 2 years. Like, in 2018, 2017 so basically our 2-year range.
Oh, I thought. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, in 2017 we covered things from 2015.
Well, you know what? We haven't really established a range yet, but like,
I'd rather just say like for like the past 2 years, not including the current year. I'd say we just do it if we really need to.
Sure, all right. I mean,
I wouldn't exclude it.
All right. I mean, like, we just have a lot of like new stuff coming out. Actually, if we like really dig, because I mean, like, when I dug back at like the end of December, I was like, oh hey, there's a lot of stuff that we weren't aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girls.
You stole that line from me, you
Yes,
bastard. I hate you so much.
You know what?
That's my thing. I do it better. Girls. I fucked it up that time. Damn it.
You did.
Well, all right.
Yeah, let it be known here, folks, that I have a better recorded a little piece of banter than Angus.
That was a horrible way to phrase that.
Yes, it was.
You just immediately lost whatever you gained from doing that voice correctly.
I did.
The one time you've ever attempted it.
Yes. But yeah, Oxblood Forge's EP was pretty interesting. Again, high tempo.
I also need to hear it because I want to know, because apparently stoner metal really doesn't like to follow the definition people give it.
Yeah.
Because even technically like what was it, Mastodon was like stoner metal in their early years, but they weren't particularly like slow about it.
Mm-hmm.
At times, like there were other faster songs, so it could just be like, because like I guess stoner metal doesn't really have to be like that, but there's like different classifications. I guess it's kind of like the same thing as like industrial. It's just very weird and a very gray area and loose definition.
All right, I can see what you're saying. It also had like it had a really cool there's like vocal delivery on there. It was like really rough, and it was like it wasn't clean at all. It was just a really rough, like heavy vocal delivery.
I actually kind of wonder, because it probably is going to. I feel like this album's going to sound like a lot like Mastodon's like first album.
A little bit. I mean, they list like blues rock and like doom as like part of their genres too.
Because Mastodon's first album was like, guitar was very dirty, very fizzy. Things were a bit more faster, a bit more gross. The vocalist actually was just making these intense, harsh voice that wasn't a scream.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something I don't know how to recreate. And it's just kind of like, it is doomy, it is stoner, and it is kind of like, but it's still kind of fast sometimes, and with some jazzy drumming behind it. And it's just, I feel like that's what this is gonna be if I listen to it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Actually, I just had a little bit of a scare there on the listing for Portkeys and Life That Is Given. It lists them as an LA band, and I was like, wait, what the hell? And I looked on their Facebook page. It says they're located in Boston, and then I realized that their album on Bandcamp is released under their label that is based in LA. So
all right.
That was a dumb little mistake I had there.
Ooh.
Dumb little mistake, like me.
That would have been. I had nothing to say there, so I just started doing my cover for the intro of the last track off of Adra Hadabra, or however you fucking say that album.
Abrahadabra.
I don't even know.
I don't even know.
It's so
man.
hard to pronounce it, but you know what I'm talking about. Just when you come in and just like the
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Forever, ages of the past.
I don't think I've really listened to much of for the rest of this week though, aside from jamming out to a little bit more downswing.
Damn.
I'm infinitely sad that there's no official release of the lyrics for those songs.
You just gotta listen to them enough that you learn them.
Yes, but he like screams in a way that
Listen to them enough that you learn them. You know when that dad knows all the lyrics to "It's the End of the World as We Know It," just by listening to that song.
Well, I mean, at least like those are said pretty clearly.
No, not at all.
Dude, I've listened to that like.
Some of them are clearly, but most of the words you hear, you're gonna mishear because the way the rate at which he says some of those, they're just gonna like sound like different words to you, and you're gonna, because I've heard someone else recite, because I'm like, I think I heard some of the words pretty clearly, and then I heard someone else actually recite it, and I'm like, those are different lyrics than what I'm hearing. It gets to you. Yeah. Like how Willie never put up the lyrics for all his rap songs, and yet I know most of the lyrics to all of them.
Well, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Do you know what you win?
I win Willie's respect. What do you have?
I have nothing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, boy. You know what's weird? I had someone tell me that stoner metal isn't a real genre or something like that.
I mean, it really has no... I'm not entirely knowledgeable on the subject, but I believe that it might have been just like one of those genres that people made up because it best classifies a certain specific thing. Like how people created Viking metal as like a way to classify bands themed around Viking style acts, like Amon Amarth and whatnot.
Yeah.
Even though Viking metal isn't really a thing, and it's just can be applied to anything that's themed around Vikings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess that's sort of the thing. I still consider Viking metal because it just helps me just like talk, but I kind of don't associate with just if it has about Vikings, but if it has that sort of sound that you get out of some of the songs like that, where they're like a lot more of they sound more like a battle song or whatever, just like a chanty kind of thing. I mean, just like things like that, just kind of like, then I kind of go, yeah, it's kind of like the whole Viking metal thing.
I can see what you're saying, but I think at the same time,
it's still a loose definition.
It's a very loose definition. Writing like that doesn't classify a whole new genre in itself. If say a black metal band were to write in blues scales, would they suddenly be a blues black metal, or just blue? To be their own little like thing, like I don't know,
blues metal.
Yeah, I mean like blues black. I don't know.
I'd just say blues. I'd go with blues metal, but technically, in a way, if you want to call them that, yeah.
Or like maybe if they were like write songs in a very Eastern style and write about like samurais, even though they're still like specifically like a death metal band.
No, that just makes them weeaboos.
Fuck. But you see my point,
yeah,
right?
I see your point. That's kind of the gray area it gets out of it, because when people make a concept album, well, you can just like say how you make a concept album like very themed around like Japanese like mythological like myths and stuff, and it's just like that doesn't get a whole new like genre. But like when you make songs about Vikings, but even though the thing is that with the Viking ones, it was just they have a certain sound sometimes.
I guess.
I mean, yeah.
We don't call Nile Egyptian themed black metal though. Like they write all their songs about Egyptian mythology, but we don't really go out and call them that because there's no like real discernible like writing style difference or like sound difference.
Yeah.
Aside from what makes them Nile compared to other bands.
Yeah.
Like Amon Amarth shouldn't be classified as a Viking metal band because they write melodic death metal.
I wouldn't call them that. That is like, a bit of a stretch.
Like,
but I'd say like when I'm listening to like when I was listening to like Exodus, I'm like, yeah. That's what I kind of well, like, yeah, I was listening to the first song and it had the sort of the deathy kind of thing about it, but then it also did have that sort of like marching into battle kind of like rhythm to it, and I was just like, yeah, I can kind of.
It's a very heavy theme that like carries over into the writing, but I wouldn't say it would classify exclusively.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say. Yeah, I'd
So
at least say that album because I've only listened to that one album, not from them. That was like one of their newest, I think. It was like their second newest album.
But again, this is just me being pedantic and kind of, I don't know, picky about definitions in music.
I just hate when other people just go up to me and they're like, genre's not important. Why should you even care? I'm like, what?
I mean, genre is important. I mean, sure, yeah, like at the end of the day, you shouldn't be an elitist over genre, but at the same time, kind of classifying something is good in order to like kind of.
Well, it's just like how do you describe a band to someone without having to be like, they sound like this band, they sound like that band? It's like it's easy to just like say, this is like kind of a general sound. It's like you can be like, oh well, here's like they're like if you want to describe like a melodic death band, but you can't say, oh, they're melodic death. It's like, what do you say? They're like, and without even using those words. I guess.
They're like a Dark Tranquility, but with more screaming.
And then someone's never listened to Dark Tranquility, and it's just like.
I mean,
it's such a stupid argument that someone was saying to me in a group of musicians, and I'm like, I'm on a podcast talking about music, and we talking to people who may have never even heard these bands, even in the room. It's just like, so.
Yeah. I mean, like, was he talking about it in the sense of like genre elitism though, or was it like?
I was talking about what I did say something. I was where someone was like, My Chemical Romance, like describing them as like like saying that they failed to revive the rock movement like they tried to, and I'm like, they're more of an alternative kind of like melodic punk kind of band, not really a rock band. And someone was like, that shouldn't matter. Genres shouldn't even be like a thing that matters. I'm like, why do you like? I don't even care about genres. Why should you? I'm like,
that's just a stupid thing to say. Like, I don't care about genres. Why should you? Like, suddenly they're the authority on like.
Well, it's
genres.
Like they were doing a thing where I was talking to them like, you know, you kind of need genres. That's like important, and they're like doing a thing where I'm the better person because I don't bother about these sort of things. Being passive aggressive towards me. I'm like, geez, it was weird.
Yeah, people are weird.
That I don't know how to like feel towards that. Just like in a chat that was just specifically designed for musicians. I'm like, what?
I mean, there's a lot of bands out there that are kind of like trying to step away from like all the crazy amounts of labels and just kind of listing themselves as one simple genre. Like,
well, I like when people just say like, oh yeah, but it's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind when people just say, oh, we're a metal band or something like that, or a rock band, but I also kind of think alternative is also a big one that should be used for people who don't really fit under the actual like kind of rock kind of sound.
Yeah,
where it's like they sound more of like reminiscent of like bands that came out of the 90s that may have been more of like around the punk or melodic or emo area. It's just like, that's alternative. Call yourself that'd be good to call yourself at least alternative and not just have to go crazy in subgenres.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, we shouldn't let people in alternative like Imagine Dragons and all the Imagine Dragon knockoff bands, because that's glorified pop there.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's what we call them, like something like kind of like pop, whatever, pop rock, just some weird kind of like pop rock kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah. But that's a
yay.
Yeah, it's just like a kind of
genre.
Just a dumb genre discussion, I'd say.
It's just me like verbally subtweeting about someone.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's the verbal equivalent of just like anonymously making an angry message about someone just being just generally dick to you.
Yeah, sure.
Or at least perceiving them as a dick.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times indeed.
Good times have been had by all.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or should we just dive into the review?
I think we should.
All right, so we're gonna take a little bit of a music break here. You're gonna hear a little bit of Friendly Dogs EP, and we'll be right back at you with some music review.
Get on it, boy.
We're transitioning.
Little fugue in G minor in my class.
All right.
And it's really technical, cool shit that he did. It was basically kind of, he was actually playing modally back in like this, what was it, the 1600? No, it was, well, yeah, around like 1600, like really pioneering the idea of playing modally.
All right. I mean, do you think it was him that created the idea, or was it like he like wrote that?
He just kind of wrote that before it was like really a concept.
So basically, it's kind of like how people derived physics from the world around them. They just derived modes from the music that already has been made.
Well, I mean, I guess modes was a concept back then, but it just wasn't like, because there was a sort of thing where people, when music used to be vocal, and they're like, hey, why don't we start the scale on a different note instead? But it's like, it was still kind of like, it's very blurry around there because it wasn't music written back there, wasn't with the same modern like writing style as they have now. Like everything was just like, if you ever look at the sheet music for Gregorian chants, it's just weird.
Is it now?
Yeah, it is just like total, like, just to me, so someone who can actually read sheet music, that actually kind of looks almost like nonsense.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
But yeah, it was just like cool to see him like write this thing. It was like a simple like hymn he wrote for a church, but it's like, it's done all completely on an organ. It's just like these, it has this one just like melody that starts really high, and then it starts with soprano voice, and then later it does a key change, like to once the alto voice starts, and that does that melody in a perfect fourth down, and then they do it again, and he keeps doing it again where it goes into the tenor and then into the bass, but always only playing 3 parts at a time because he has 2 hands and a foot. It's really cool. You have to listen to that song.
All right, I'll have to check that out at some point. Like you can bother me with it at some other point.
Yeah, I'll just find you that video that we showed in class, because there's a video I found where I was showed in class where it was just like it actually showed like as like in the style of like one of those like synth programs, like where it shows the different colors of
like
each
Synthesia.
Yeah, like it was done in the style, the video for it was done in the style, it looked like that, but it was scrolling across, and it had different colors to show you all the different voicing, so you could actually see what was going on even if you can't read sheet music.
All right.
It's really, it was something that like when the teacher pointed that out, I was like, I didn't see that. That was really cool.
Yeah. But all right, so let's dive in and review our topic of today. Today's topic, brought to you by Crippling Depression.
Brought to you by Crippling Depression.
Is Dumpster Tracks, an EP by Friendly Dog. Their 3rd EP, I believe.
Coming this Sunday.
Yeah. But yeah, so it is a 5-track EP that released a little bit off the heels of Friendly Dogs' Scratching at the Door. And it's a folk punk record, kind of singer-songwriter in the vein of anarcho-folk, similar to music that Brian Huntress and Justin Arena wrote in the early days.
Rip anti-folk.
I think like they still kind of carried on that anarchist writing up until like I'd say like 2015 at the very least.
Yeah, it definitely. I think after Boxer's Jaw, like it lost its drummer. It's just like that sort of style had left completely.
Like the OG Boxer's Jaw.
Well, yeah. Well, the one that any of the iterations that, well, I think it was just once after he because he always had that drummer around. Because that was the same drummer who was in Full Band Politics, I think.
All right.
Who stayed around for Boxer's Jaw and then eventually left, and it became kind of just straight up folk.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like that was also like about a year and a half of like getting that to actually happen, though. But yeah, so Dumpster Tracks, Friendly Dog, 5 tracks, off the heels of Scratching at the Door, and it's a nice little simple EP.
Yeah.
So what would you say? What were your initial feelings diving into this?
Thoughts, feelings, concerns.
Your thoughts, feelings, concerns.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know what my like initial thoughts really were. Like I really can't like put to words what I was thinking when I just first heard it, because I mean, it was kind of nice to hear this kind of music again. It's been like years since I've really heard anyone do this style of music.
Yeah.
And it kind of just brings back the old memories of everyone just having those very like those like actual like songs that had these sort of like driven messages but in a way that were very crude and non-conformist, that it was just like ways of thinking. It was just kind of like I was like this was nice. It's nice to listen to this again.
Oh yeah, I can feel that. I mean, I was honestly a little bit surprised because like Friendly Dog just sounds like a name of like kind of a goofy little like happy folk act similar to like Guy and Heart Tribe.
No,
like,
I've learned that folk names are deceiving as hell, and they usually just are the opposite of how they sound.
Oh yeah, but I mean like yeah. But I enjoyed my time with the EP. I'd say like the elements of like post-teen angst here and like the songwriting was pretty interesting. The use of like the different instruments throughout the EP was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
It was a nice touch and allowed for a nice variety in such a small release.
The one thing that just made it hard for me, because I was listening because I've been listening to a lot of really high quality produced like 9-string gent bands.
Yeah.
And then I moved to this, and it's just like such a contrast. It kind of like it, like when you first listen to the first song, it's just like you're not really, it makes it hard to get into it when you listen to so many other like very high produced bands.
Oh yeah. Like in the world of music that we are experiencing right now, this is very dialed back, like grassroots DIY, like to the core.
Yeah, it's even weird because like back years ago, I would have heard this and I'm like, I would have kind of treated it the same as any other album, like no matter how high the production value was. It's just nowadays even like local bands are getting higher quality like music, so it's just like it is still strange to hear music at this quality. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm probably going to put out an EP that just sounds like absolute garbage with the equipment I'm using.
I mean,
but
it can't be helped.
Yeah, it just happens.
At least it's not being recorded on an iPhone, though.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like Friendly Dog has technical know-how and some money to actually afford equipment.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could hear that there was a lot more dynamics than an iPhone recording could ever put into this.
Yeah.
Which is so I can say that it isn't like I'm not saying it's like total like just absolute trash quality, because there are some good stuff that they added into this. It might not have like had flawless high production quality, but I mean it definitely has like something over what I would probably put in releases.
Yeah. I mean it harkens back a little bit. Brian still like was doing some of this lo-fi stuff back in 2016 with Expect a Miracle, and kind of like it's nice to see these concepts again too, like just under a new name with new themes and whatnot, because Expect a Miracle was very, very focused on just the general like sadness and depression and shit in Brian's life, and like this is like very outward, forward thinking, not really introspective in the slightest, because this isn't about Friendly Dog. This is about the people around Friendly Dog.
Yeah, which is it's good. It's all good, man.
Yeah. Like like these songs are, I'd say like the lyricism is actually really cool. Like it's very punchy and like to the point, but it's got a well written punch, I'd say.
Yeah, I didn't want to start off earlier just like things, but I was just like, the one thing that like did make it hard at first, but didn't help it at first, was something about the first song with just the mixing, whereas didn't seem as all right as the rest of the album, the rest of the release. Like it's sort of like it's either like some of the tracks, especially the vocal track, didn't sound loud enough to me.
I could actually say, the vocal track didn't feel loud enough.
It was just that was the thing, because it was just like there were some tracks sometimes where it's like, maybe that track could have been turned up a little bit.
Maybe it was like the guitar was like just under the vocals, and it felt.
Well, the guitar was fine. The guitar was at like what I thought would be a perfect volume for it, but I just felt like maybe the vocal could have been turned up just a little bit more. It was because then it would help over the fact, because like the guitar is kind of panned a little bit to the left, and then the vocals are like stereo at both ends.
Yeah,
which is, it's very weird, and I actually kind of like what they were trying to like do something, because also I think there was also like a bass like a bass under that, like a fretless or something like that.
It might have been like a stand-up bass.
Yeah, it was like a stand-up bass. That's what I kind of meant to say. But yeah, it was like a stand-up bass behind it, which I actually got to check and see if it was like if that was done on the opposite side of the guitar because just for me, I need kind of equality between the ears when I'm listening to music. Not because it's what I want, but it's because otherwise it physically bothers my ears.
Okay, all right.
So it makes things hard for me when like things aren't perfectly equalized on both ends of the ears.
Like what? Say if a band were to like have a riff go into one ear, then go back to go to one ear, then go back to one ear, then go back to.
If it's moving side to side, it's just like I'll be fine. But it's just like it's like things like I've listened to like Black Sabbath Paranoid and like. I think it's the one of the solos in like I think in Paranoid where it's just like you hear just straight dry bass and then straight up high guitar solo and it just bothers my ears because it's just there's no balance between levels. They don't like meet at a certain point because there's like a point where it's like the bass can be very like large and it kind of and the guitar can have a bit more of largeness to it than those recordings than like say it was done on Paranoid and just like okay then I can go with it because they're like it doesn't feel as like empty and just it isn't as empty, which causes things to be a bit hard for me.
All right.
Or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. The rest of it was just that first track that was just kind of like the rest of the album. Actually, just I was all cool with.
What would you say would be like your favorite song out of the five? I know it's kind of hard to like discern out of the five. I'd say.
No, I was making a face because I keep like there's like air in my stomach right now.
Okay.
I'm just eternally burping.
All right.
It's really bothering me, but I was had to be Give 'Em Hell.
Give 'Em Hell.
Yeah, has to be just like my top song. It's hard because like under that it's kind of like it's like that song and then it's like Free Rider after that.
Which one was Free Rider again?
Last track.
Like I know, but like what did it kind of go like? I'm trying to recall
Free
it right
Rider,
now.
Free Rider.
Oh yeah, there we go. It was very the very Troll 2-esque song.
Yeah, I that was like my second favorite. But I should probably go into like Give 'Em Hell. I especially loved it because the way it like I like saw the way they use the idea of like what if Jesus was a modern day bum pothead? Would you actually be nice to him and treat him like a human being? Yeah. And I was just like I was liking the way they were writing in like they were just one being very crude and just like probably blatantly offending people just like to a degree where it's just like not being actually hateful but it's just kind of like just offending their way of thinking by just like showing them this very different way of like approaching that idea.
All right.
Which is a very just out there thoughts just in a song, and I just kind of I like when people do that.
See, my perspective on that though is that that perspective applied to like the Jesus quandary is something I've heard a lot in the past, so that I didn't really feel that level of surprise that you did.
Well, I mean, I hear when people say say things like just songs that just harshly bash on Christianity, but this one was sort of like a challenge your actual thought. And it's sort of a thing. It was like would you like a challenge to people who like want to be Christ-like is like would you actually do what you say and actually help him?
All right.
And it's just like and it wasn't like hating on a religion. It was sort of like challenging people's ways of thoughts because I also feel that going to a Christian college and I hear them talk about these ideas of welcoming outsiders, but they're very behind on that idea. Like they're still on the idea of like welcoming people of different religions, not even just people of like different kind of backgrounds or people who might not even be part of religions or anything like that.
All right.
So it's like they talk about doing these things when they really don't even try to do it, or it is a sort of he is addressing a real actual issue with Christians.
Well, yeah, it is I'm well aware it's a real issue. It's just like I'm illustrating that I didn't feel the same amount of like endearment for it because that sort of criticism, that sort of idea has, for me, I've seen it a ton of times. Like Jesus is a socialist. Jesus would have. Divided wealth equally, etc.
Okay, Jesus as a socialist is kind of a different one. I'm not sure. I wouldn't like get totally behind that.
Well, I mean, like
it's also because I'm
you get my point though. Like the applying modern politic identity
Yeah. Well,
modern political identity.
I don't. Yeah. Well, not the political. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not really too crazy about that. Aligning politics to like someone like Jesus and saying this is what his political alignment would be. I'm not big about that. It's also because he's supposed to be depicted as like a man with no.
But you see my point I was trying to get at, right? Like
I see your point, but I feel like the way they talked about this was different from that because they're putting out a different perspective than saying, "Oh, Jesus would have been a socialist." Because that is kind of corny.
It wasn't limited to like Jesus was a socialist. It was like Jesus would have smoked pot. Jesus would give money to the homeless, etc., etc., etc. Like that's just. I've seen these before, but I kind of want to dive into my favorite tracks. Were actually
I wanted to still talk about. I wanted to say. Well, I was trying to remember the rest of "Give 'Em Hell," but I know there was like still a lot of the chorus, the lyricism to the chorus was like something that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Like the actual words, I couldn't quote them off, but I know it was like the chorus for that was like I really like the lyricism to that like really got me, and I did like I think that one had 2 vocal tracks to it, didn't it? It was either that or Free Rider.
It might have been Free Rider, I think.
I know that's what Free Rider was on my second one because it was also like, it was very, it was very like, the lyricism was very offensive to the ears. And like they were just saying harsh kind of things that really just kind of like, there's like that, get a little bit of that shock factor, which I love that bands like this can do. They can just like reminiscent of old punk bands where you just say horrible things about like how Sex Pistols would say horrible shit about the Queen and like perform it in public at the Queen's birthday party.
Oh,
they were like in a, it was like when they performed their one song called "God Save the Queen," it was like "God Save the Queen" or fascist regime or some shit like that, or things like that, just very blatantly insulting to her. They performed it on a boat outside the Buckingham Palace while she was having her birthday party.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And that's why I love shit like this, because this was like, that song was like verbally offensive to people, and that, but it was also a fun, catchy song, and the extra instrument tracks and the extra vocal tracks just really, really made it a good, solid song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talk about what you want to talk about, Mr. I need to rush the other person talking.
I apologize.
Huh? Fight me, cash me outside.
I mean, I'll do you? Yeah, I will take you to the bank and we'll get you cashed, okay?
Hell yeah, boy.
All right, I mean, actually, no, we can't really take you to the bank. It's Sunday, it's 8:44, and we can't do that.
I mean...
We can do that in the morning.
There's a 24-hour ATM. Why in the morning? I'm going back home tonight.
Well, yeah, you know what? I mean, like...
I don't need to go to the bank anyway, so it's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. All right, but yeah... so, my...
Save me from this nightmare.
My friend...
I keep burping.
Oh, okay.
It's really bad.
That sucks. But so my favorite tracks were it was a tie between like Bamboozled and No Use for Flagpoles After the Revolution. Bamboozled like kind of really touched on those feelings of like the world's kind of screwing you over like the second you step out into it, and sure, as much as those are kind of overdone, like this had a lot of heart into it, and calling back to childhood ideas of how adults told us, yeah, we could do anything we really wanted to, but then we're slapped in the face by reality of the second like we get out there. Like and just I enjoyed No Use for Flagpoles because it used an interesting imagery of like of a musician in a station trying to earn enough money to survive, and how they'd work together to kind of create a society that would help them to alongside everybody else. And it's like it's taking that socialist idea but in like in kind of an endearing sympathetic way, and I appreciate what is done there. I appreciate like the topics, the sound. It was all a good piece and whatnot, but like again it contested with Bamboozled, and those were like the two like more laid back songs, and I think that's what I kind of enjoyed more out of it, the closer to the folk side of it. But yeah, I'd say like the EP has like a good balance of like straight folk with elements of punk, and punk with elements of folk, and it like kind of acts as a good meeting point for the two genres in itself.
I really like how the three songs really kind of all kind of flowed. The last three songs really flow together in a way.
Oh yeah, they did.
They just really like when I get to those three songs, it's like they bring my attention right back into the album if I've kind of like spaced out at all. I just kind of like I'm like okay, yeah, I'm into it. I'm actually because like I'm actually starting to hear lyrics more and like kind of remember them, and I'm like. Yeah, these last three songs really catch my attention because it's like it's for me. Those are like the last three are my three favorites from the album.
I mean, actually, what I kind of said was a little bit bullshit over there. Like Bamboozled actually goes pretty fast, but like I'd say like at least.
Well, Bamboozle just didn't have like was a little bit more of like. It was like it lightened up on the like it was a bit quieter and it wasn't as many like tracks going on, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Because it did start just like voice and banjo and then picked up in a guitar later on, and so it was a bit more like maybe more minimalist, even still faster.
Yeah, I'd say so. But yeah, those are my favorite tracks, and I guess we'll be finishing off with would you recommend this and why?
Bringing up those like high school sounding like essay questions.
Yeah, those writing
prompts. or like or just a paragraph thing. It's like, what do you think and why?
Describe it in 30 words or more.
No, I'm just thinking more of like those like prepare you for MCAS types like paragraphs teachers gave you. They're like tell us about what what your opinion is, like. Tell us your opinion on this one point of the most boring part of this story you just read, and then 3 reasons why. And just like thanks. I mean, yours at least yours is more interesting than an MCAS prompt.
Yeah.
Not the one about Bob Burnquist. That one was sick.
All right, you hear it, folks. You heard it, folks. Here, my inquiry is more interesting than most MCAS questions, aside from the Bob Burnquist MCAS questions.
Those were nobody. People keep getting shocked when I talk about that.
Like I remember, I had an MCAS question about a story of Jamie from MythBusters, and that was pretty cool.
But mine was actually talking about the accolades of Bob Burnquist and what he's actually done that makes him a popular skater, which I didn't know and I've read about. And he's like, he had like a mega ramp built by his house, I think.
That's dope.
And it was just like he does one of those crazy like really huge ramps kinds of stuff and like just real extreme stuff, and I'm like, that is cool.
Was it Brian that like got letters from Bob, photos from Bob Burnquist when he sent him an art piece out of nowhere, or was it?
Don't know.
No, I think it was. I can't remember it entirely, but that was a cool story.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you were saying though.
But yeah, as I was saying, I would try to find someone I could recommend this to. I would. I don't have many friends or know many people who are like as into this sort of like who are into that sort of idea of like the music that's very like harsh, nonconformist and like just and like pretty much tries to like go against the grain of like society and shit like that. All that kind of hippie bullshit. Mm-hmm. God damn it! I sound like a fucking one of those like a stupid ass beatniks from the 50s and 60s. Fucking like shoot me, please.
You gotta shoot me first.
Damn, that can't work though.
You know what? Too bad.
It is bad when I went on like a diatribe in a writing class about a story that's like ripping on this on the suburban culture of the 60s, and like I went on like a couple minute diatribe about that in class explaining that part of the story, and I'm like, wow. I am God.
You are like 2 levels of critical. You are critical of modern day hippies, and you're critical of the nuclear family.
No, I like modern day hippies. I love that sort of idea.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I fit under.
All right.
Yeah. it just like shows that I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just basic, I guess.
You're just an amorphous blob that fits into whatever culture is more convenient for you.
What? That's
I'm
not
kidding.
even true. That is not even in a joking sense, like remotely true.
Just let.
I wish you would say something a lot more offensive than that.
You're an asshole.
That's better. I live with that one.
I would say worse, but you know we are We are a family show, and I don't.
What? Rated G.
That's a funny joke. I mean, the amount of times it said "fuck" on the show is
No,
like,
remember think about when we had Dan on here.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We're never getting anything past 13, lower than 13. Like 13's a stretch. I don't even think we can get 13 anymore.
Yeah, no. We're just a hard R show.
Just hard R. Only hard R. Like a real man. That's terrible. I was pushing it.
Yes, you
I was so pushing it. Listen to this album. It's good. Please.
But yeah, I definitely would recommend this to anyone that does enjoy just like really punky music, a lot of more laid back music. Someone that doesn't really mind like the fact that it's like bedroom quality. But
yeah, I wouldn't go back to find someone who listened to like laid back kind of, because it's not exactly laid back.
I mean, like laid back as like opposed to like something that isn't into like all extremely intense like metal and whatnot.
Yeah,
so,
just
like,
someone who who only exclusively listens to tech death.
Yeah, like I would. Some of my friends who like old emo bands and like punk and a little bit of folk here and there, like some classic Simon and Garfunkel, I'd say like, hey, you should definitely check out this dude, Friendly Dog. He's a good dude.
Everyone, I think everyone has a room in their heart for punk in any sort of genre.
Yeah.
Everyone has some sort of punk that they can listen to. I think it's punk is a genre for everyone.
Yeah, I'd say so. From the Sex Pistols all the way to
like the Bouncing Souls or Ignite. Or Rise Against in early albums, even though they're more of hardcore, which is also a subgenre, kind of technically a subgenre of punk.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which is why I say that.
But yeah, like I'd say this brings Friendly Dog's review to a close.
Yeah, and I'm gonna eat the microphone.
Don't. I need that to do things.
I'm gonna unhinge my jaw like a snake.
Don't.
Or a husky, because apparently Siberian huskies can do that.
Ooh, cool.
They can unhinge their jaws. You know why? That's why they can have really widely open mouths all the time.
Oh,
especially when they yawn. Yeah, they can unhinge their jaws. It's weird. I didn't know that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's intense. That's metal as fuck.
You know what else is metal as fuck?
I want an album artwork that's just like a dog unhinging its jaws.
But you want to have it like visually disgusting, like fucked up and whatnot?
Maybe not. Maybe I just want it extremely overly detailed, but not like grindcore disgusting.
All right.
I mean, it's better than just a wolf.
But I feel like you probably try and go at least some of your early Instagram edits level of like gross looking.
I debate it. Depends how I'd feel.
All right. But yeah, again, like this brings the Friendly Dog review to a close.
Maybe I put like an infant in its path of chomping distance. That's what I'll do. It'll like a wolf unhinging its jaws, but then there's a baby like within like entirely just eating whole distance. There you go. That'll be the disgusting portion of it. She's just a sleeping child, not aware of the dangers that face him.
We're gonna go into a little bit of Friendly Dog. Oh, with some more music by him, or him, her, whichever. I don't know the gender.
Just with this you can't even say person nowadays, I guess, either.
Yeah, this
piece of existence in our universe, because no one can just identify as being non-existent. If you do, wow, you're ahead of everyone. That is the future, when people identify as being existent or non-existent.
But yeah, so enjoy some more music, and we'll be right back at you with some things.
Woo. Don't assume my existence. Newer meme territory, but just like with heavy video editing and green screens, and it's just and horrible like 1 minute videos that are just terrible jokes.
All right, Areno. Alt-right. No, that is bad.
There was like 3 E's for you, all in different octaves right there.
Thank you.
It sounds classical as fuck.
I needed those E's in my life.
Ooh. I'll play a G. And then a B. And then a D.
But yeah, so I'm gonna just
I fucked
look
up.
and
That
see,
wasn't
like,
a D. That was another G.
any shows coming up really soon that people should be going to? So we have got lend me a tenor. What's that?
I don't know. I just played you a G major chord, but with only with 2 open strings.
It's a show at Canton Community Theater. That's cool. It's a musical show. That's cool. That is cool. It's happening tonight.
Nice. Tonight.
This
Sunday. Are you ready?
Oh, hey, we got on Thursday, we got Black Norse, Ouroboros, Gash, and Space Case all playing at Sue's on 3 Front Street in Rollinsford, New Hampshire. That's Thursday at 8 p.m., the 15th. So if you're feeling a little bit like you want to beat the shit out of someone on Valentine's Day, save that to the day after and go have fun there. On Friday, we've got folk punk for community advancement at the Distant Castle in Worcester. We got Boxer's Jaw, Dave Savage, Friendly Dog, and Justin Arena all playing that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we got
when is that?
That is February 16th. That's the Friday.
Damn.
That's at Distant Castle in Worcester. And it would just be something really cool to go to. I wish I could go, but I'm basically going to be in Vermont that day.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that is a thing. Keep your eyes out for that. On Sunday, February 18th, we got Fossil Youth, Bogues, Bicycle Inn, Rich People, and I believe after that was Grand Entrance and Last Conversation. More to be announced. Ask to Play at Patterson Creations in Attleboro, Massachusetts from 6 p.m. to whenever. $10 pre-purchase and $13 day of show. That's it. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty nice lineup.
That's saucy.
And then on Thursday, February 22nd, we got Runaway Brother and Locals at Patterson Creation. I think that's it. Yeah, Patterson Creation. Eleanor, Pretty Things, Rocket Ship, Familiar Spaces, and I think Hello Tortoise is gonna be dropping off of that because they can't play unless they got someone filling in for Josh. So I remember that was the show that Josh really wanted us to go to. And then on February 23rd, we got Kublai Khan, Varials, and I Am with Regime and Degrader and No Eye Seen opening for them. And we got the same day also Victims, Deadlands, Somewhere to Call Home, and more at Bungalow Bar and Grill. They've even got Wretched Tongues, they got Low Point, Wretched Tongues, Marble Mouth, and Attacking the Vision opening for them. We got on the same day too Open the Nile, Unflesh, My Missing Half, Red Mantis, and Agri Somnia. They are playing in Jewel Music Venue, New Hampshire. In Manchester, New Hampshire. Right? That is 7 to 1 a.m. And then we got Saturday, February 24th, a free show with Mourn, Hive Mind, X Forgiveness Denied X, and Vantage Point, and Face First, and Blood Tithe. That is a free show at the Red Alert Indoor Skate Park and Shop. Yep, and that also on the same day, I Set My Friends on Fire is playing at the Feet Music Hall in Providence with bands Another One Down and Robin Wood opening for them. And on the same day, we've also got The Shirts and Shoes, Phil Canberra and Daisy Bones, and Fish House. And, Phil Canberra and the Space Cadets. I forgot to let that little bit in there. Phil Canberra was one of the bands that we saw at the Daisy Bone show.
Oh.
I think it was like the band before Portkey.
Oh, so it was like the... I'm trying to remember, because it was the band after the first band we walked in on.
Or it might have been like the first band we were walking in on was the Space Cadets.
Oh yeah, it was. Now I remember. Yeah, I remember that. It was like the guy who looked like a discount like Milo. What was his name? Milo Ocker. Whatever his name was. You know what I'm thinking of.
Ocker.
What was his name? I'm trying to remember his last name just so people should remember it. It was.
What was he from?
He was from the vocalist of the Descendants.
Oh, Milo from the Descendants. That's it.
Well, I mean, yeah. I just like to say his last name because his last name really helps. Because it's bad just calling him Milo because it's just like fuck. There's like other Milos out there.
I mean, if you say Milo from The Descendants, like, I think you kind of hit the point home.
I just want to see his. I actually want to find out his last name, so I remember it now.
But yeah, so that's a really cool show. I'd say definitely go to it if you're interested in Daisy Bones or you want to see some new music. Because Phil Canberra was really cool.
Yeah, that his voice was like when he did those like intense parts, it was just good.
Yeah. Then Sunday we got Bury Your Dead and
Milo Ackerman.
And we got Bury Your Dead, Recon, A Great American Ghost, and Regime. That's Sunday at the Palladium. That's gonna be a cool show. The day after,
yeah, it would be.
The day after is Songwriter Spotlight at the Middle East in Cambridge. We've got acts.
A minor because I'm sad.
We got a lot of acts that night. Tony DeBias, Sophie Ward, Xanthi Roxanne Diamond, Maverick, Venom and Mayhem of Flight of Fire, Kyle Wilson, Amanda McCarthy, Aaron Branken, Joe Scahn, and Brian Bailey, Tyler Joseph Payne, and Santa Mordecai Robbins, and more to be announced. That sounds like it's going to be an interesting show there. And later on that week, we have Dusk with Hemlock, Frantic Endeavor, Triality, and Stratosphere Giant at the Dusk in Providence. So it's Hemlock, Frantic Endeavor, Triality, and Stratosphere Giant. And yeah, it's it's a March 2nd show. It's going from 8 to 2 a.m. And yeah, it could be a pretty cool show. Triality is Stephen Spacey's band. He did the sound for Berryfest, and yeah, keep an eye out for that if you really want to have a fun time. And there is Extemper, Perennial, Ouroboros, and more to be announced at the Flywheels Arts Collective in East Hampton, Massachusetts on Thursday, March 8th. And some shows. We got Intoxicated Rage, Ice Giant, Screams of Hawkmock in Alston, Sunday, March 11th. We've got Jackals Troll 2, Bochetto the Wolf at O'Brien's Pub in Alston, the 15th. Let's see. Degrader, Born Anew, Gone Broke, The Worst of Us, and Dividing Skies, playing at the Sonia in Cambridge, Friday, March 16th. That's pretty cool. Our boys Degrader are opening that show. And then the same night's the Human Flight Committee reunion show. I've mentioned that before. Knuckle Puck upstairs at the Palladium with not really anyone super notable we know of off the top of our head that we know of looking at this, but yeah, hey. Let's see, anyone else? Knocked Loose is Friday, March 3rd. That's the first day of Anime Boston. If you seem to somehow fall into that area where those two conflict, that is going to conflict with me a lot. It all depends on whether Flo is playing Friday night at Anime Boston. Probably going to be a Saturday night thing, though. And also a reminder, Wednesday, April 4th, turn yourself into Boston Police Department for stealing a balloon.
For stealing a what?
For stealing a balloon.
Oh, yeah.
Just a reminder, alright?
Free balloon day. Forgot about that.
Let's see. And reminder, the 7 Mile Spanking Machine is Saturday, April 14th.
I love these.
Yeah, gonna have to go a little bit of ways away to Williamsport, Maryland. I don't know if they will be able to make the 7 miles happen there uninterrupted, but you know what? I want to see if they make it happen. Probably won't even happen to begin with.
I love all these SpongeBob reference the events that are happening right now. It's beautiful.
It's terrible, but it's beautiful. Let's see. I think that is all for the shows that we have in our immediate schedule. But keep an eye out for more shows coming down the pipeline. Amanda McCarthy is announcing her shows weekly on her personal Facebook page as well as her band page and on her website. You can catch more announcements from more artists on their Facebook pages when you give them a like and you set their post viewings to see first, because you want to see them when you open up your Facebook app.
Yeah.
You want to see their posts first. You want to know when you want to go when their music is dropping. You want to know these things, don't you? You want to know.
Don't ya?
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?
No. Stop. I'm calling the
this.
police.
Call the police. See what they can do. But yeah,
send out an SOS to the world.
I hope you stop one day.
Yeah, they just hope that someone gets their message in a bottle. All right.
Oh my god.
Woo! Clipping.
But alright, was there any interesting bits of music news that came out relatively recently? I mean, I guess, did you hear that Jaden Smith last year released a full-length album? It's like a hip-hop album.
No.
It happened, and it was, apparently, reached over 100 million streams, relatively recently. And Will Smith made a video where he basically recreated part of the opening of a video, but with him doing this Will Smith thing. He was even wearing like Jaden Smith's outfit from the video, and was like starting to like lip sync to the rap, and it was kind of funny just seeing like Will Smith trying to like pull the goofy shit his kid is doing. But yeah, Jaden Smith's album was Sire, and it was a 17-track album that went for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I think around the 39-minute mark, I was like, okay, it feels like it's ending. Wait, why isn't it ending? It's got another half an hour after this, and I was just like, I can't sit through this. I have no fucking patience. Like, the Jaden Smith album was kind of interesting for production job. Like, there was some like really low. There was some moments where they had like guitar and drums and whatnot. It kind of gave it a rock vibe with like some really interesting mixing going along, where it was kind of really gritty, but kind of clean cut too in the same way. And it was cool. But at the same time though, the album was just very underwhelming and like kind of boring, like towards like the halfway mark. It should have ended there, but you know what? They tacked on an extra 30 minutes because whatever. So yeah, that's a cool little bit of music news. The Caps released their EP finally after working on it for over 10 months. They've released like cool little like photos of like what they've been doing in the studio, little behind the scenes stuff and whatnot here and there. And yeah, it's awesome to see our boys, the Caps, releasing their first EP. Like,
our boys.
They got a nice re-recording of Camco on there for you guys who love Camco. And this EP actually it's really nice.
Camco is my jam. It's my anthem.
Yeah, you know what? If you ever have a Tinder account, you could set that as your anthem.
I might make a Tinder account just for that now.
Cool, like never use it.
Only, yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pose myself as a woman and then have that as my anthem, and also just only reply to people in like stupid ways whenever they try to hit on me.
That's great, but you have to create a fake Facebook account for that.
Oh, I do now?
Well, I think it's because it takes your Facebook account and like and uses the information from that as information for you.
It does that now?
I think so.
That's shitty. No, maybe, I feel like there's a way around it.
Maybe. It's been like 2 years since I've used a Tinder account anyway, so...
I've never used a Tinder account, so I don't know.
I mean, that's how I remember it at least, but yeah. Any more music news? I think Bruno Mars swept at the Grammys this year. I don't know if we've talked about... Hey, 24 Karat Magic was actually a really enjoyable album from what I heard. Like, Bruno Mars...
I should try and listen to it again, but just like... I mean, I like because he did seem to like at least improve over the garbage that he wrote like pre Uptown Funk.
Like I will give him that, like some of it wasn't as good, but it was very catchy like in the early years, and it was like
no, his old stuff had always been it had always bothered me. There was one song that he made that was just like also absolutely atrocious. I know like it was a Grenade was just it was just too cheesy. Like even as me as an 8th grader couldn't even take that seriously. I was like this, like this. I heard this. I'm like, I've heard better from worse.
All right, I'll give you that.
And there was another song you wrote that was like something like the lazy song, or something like shit. That
the lazy song
was so. I hate that song so much, and I get upset when people actually bring that song up because I'm like, that is just like, it is just like a dark stain on music writing.
All right, I will give you that. The lazy song is like just like the worst song in existence.
Yeah,
I like not like the worst song, because I mean, like, if you listen to Corey Feldman's speeding something is angelic to the core, you will hear worse songs. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, I mean, Shirtless is probably even has a lower bar than that, because at least that Bruno Mars songs had a higher production value.
That's fair.
Well, actually, no, just had people who were paid to do what they can actually do.
You know what? I kind of want to buy Shirtless just so that we can immortalize the song.
Do you actually have to buy it to get it?
Actually, no, but I kind of want to buy it just so that it's in the Bandcamp like registry as someone actually buying that piece of trash.
Oh yeah, because no one did.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
It's beautiful.
It's just you know, where there's no spend all that money to get in that really nice local studio and then zero returns.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of bands right now. I mean,
a lot of bands are better than, or at least getting 3 people at the most. That got none.
That's fair.
And
People
who are using even like more lower, not like more inexpensive studios than like Moondog, who are still getting better returns than that.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure the returns on even, I'd say just like self-produced music, like the Unit 1 EP, are a lot better than stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I still always have to take part. I have never been in a studio before, and I was very confused.
Yeah.
It's very hard going into the studio for the first time and never even knowing a single thing about the recording industry. It is bad.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I vocalized that, or at least or that Liam could have picked up on that I was very confused, because I was like, I wasn't even turning out using the right knobs on like on the actual like mixer that my headphones were into. Because I just couldn't. I was just like,
hey. At least you didn't plug in a diaphragm mic with it into a mixer where it was 5 feet away from huge ass speakers. Because I'm pretty sure I would have blown out those speakers if I had that plugged in any longer.
What do you mean?
At Berryfest, do you remember that like loud? I was like fiddling around trying to get a diaphragm mic on stage for Tom's drums, and like it was like. It was like a really high, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was...
I don't really remember that, actually.
That's good. That's good. Maybe more people don't remember it, and I can, like, kind of wipe that away.
Well, Berryfest was, like, 9 hours.
Yeah, that's true, too. Like, we were there for the full 9 hours.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think we were there for, like, 10 hours.
Yeah. And for the... yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was like,
times.
I was so in a daze that I forgot I was even talking to Brian of Hello Tortoise.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was completely fine, but I was just still being weird.
Yeah.
The entire night.
I think, but yeah, at the Grammys, Kendrick Lamar won. Yeah, we talked about how yeah, we did talk about how Mastodon won the metal Grammy.
Yes.
Yeah, like we didn't talk about it until like we had Hello Tortoise on. Like, yeah.
Did we? Because I don't even remember this.
Yeah, because when we greeted them as Mastodon, like you said, like, oh hey, congratulations on the Grammy.
No, I said congratulations on the nomination. I didn't know they won.
Actually, yeah, I think they won. Yeah.
I gotta look at that now. Metal Grammy, because I actually didn't look. I forgot. Because it took so long for them to happen that I just forgot. They
like, announced them a month in advance, and then like
no, it was like a few months in advance.
No, like the noms happened in like January, dude. Actually, wait, no.
No, it wasn't, because we were talking about them in December.
Were we?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. back when I was actually listening to Emperor of Sand.
Fuck,
Because I haven't listened to Emperor of Sand in months.
All right.
I haven't actually listened to it since November.
That's fair. All right.
So yeah, that happened. I actually need to look that up now because I'm curious who won that. If Mastodon really did win. It was also funny calling them Mastodon because their bassist does look like one of the members of Mastodon. It's so funny.
You mean
no, I mean the guitar. Sorry,
the guitar. You mean
the drummer? Yeah, drummer. Yeah,
I was about to correct you.
I'm not doing great right now.
No, we're not doing great.
The site can't be reached. Thank you, Google.
But I'm pretty sure, yeah, like Mastodon won that Grammy. Is there any sort of anything big on the horizon for you that you're really excited about? Any music stuff that has caught your eye happening soon?
Not really, no.
All right, well,
except for just Amir's going on tour, starting to announce tour stuff now.
All right, cool.
Which is good. We gotta wait to see if Regime gets on that. I want that.
Fingers crossed.
I want to see Regime and Amir play on the same stage the same night. That would make me happy.
Imagine if that was for 12 nights in a row.
That'd be. I just would love to see them on tour together.
Yeah.
Because I know Nathan at least appreciates Amir at least as like at least somewhat close to the way I appreciate them.
Yeah, I assume so.
Like I don't know if Nathan is like fully in love with them, but I think he still appreciates their music, yeah. So I'd hope that they could like hang out and be friends and chill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All that good stuff.
Yeah, I feel that.
It'd be good.
But oh yeah, one interesting thing that I just remembered was coming down the pipeline relatively soon was Man Mountain, an indie post-rock band that Craig Bitterman, I believe, he bought some music from them, and it was part of one of his top 100 releases of the year. Dude listens to a lot more music than I ever will. And they've got a full-length record coming out in March. And they've got 2 really cool records. One's a clear with splatter in the middle of it, and one's like a space gray, but with a lot of cool visual effects on it. I'll have to show you real quick. Man Mountain. Let's see. Like, the album cover is also absolutely beautiful. Like, this is the album cover.
Damn. Those are some sexy ass squares.
Yes, sexy squares.
I would take those squares on a very nice date.
Yeah. This is the gray record that I'm getting. That's beautiful.
Nice. It kind of makes me think of like that one Sick of It All like signature guitar that came out.
Yeah.
It looked really cool.
And then also Insomnium is releasing a reissue of.
I wonder if I can get one of those.
A vinyl, and I think it's just exclusively a vinyl reissue of the album. I think it was, what was the album? What was the album? It was, I can't remember. It was the One for Sorrow, the album that came out in like 2012ish roughly. But they got 2 songs that were only released as like digital singles. Like, only outside of the U.S. Like, you can't get them in the U.S. at all. And they're releasing a gold record reissue with a CD in the pack as well. And it's going to be really cool to get. And I broke the bank on that. I hate my life. But I'll do it for Insomnium. And I hope I get to see them in June. Please let the world let me just see Insomnium again. I love those guys. But yeah, so I don't think there's any super important news other than that. So we're just gonna tell you about what's gonna be reviewed next. We have got Ouroboros' Laughing Death, a full length released in early January, up next as our review. And then afterwards, we'll be talking about the Caps' Spent Not Satisfied in a pre-recorded episode, maybe pre-recorded, depending on how this comes out on Audacity. We may just do a genuine live show with Willie again. Willie is definitely signed on for that show. But yeah, so keep an eye out for more stuff from Rockland Rebel Radio. You can like our Facebook page, subscribe to us, And keep up with all the good stuff on the Twitter, too. Maybe, if Angus will ever tweet out things.
It's hard.
Really, it's hard to send a single 140-character tweet.
They up the limit.
Fight me. Play a sec fight riff! Alright, yep. And that's it. We're done here.
Yeah.
Have yourself a good night, folks. Woo!